Good evening, everyone. I hope my English is clear for you. I'm pleased to present the first live streaming episode in English of Anubi TV. In this episode, we want to talk about a very important event for Egyptian Egyptology. The Netflix documentary film, The Secret of the Tomb of Saqqara. In addition, to this, we talk about the archaeological site of Saqqara. First, in introducing our guest, I show you one little video. It is a surprise. Hello, I now present our guest. The first and Sheriff Shaban. Yeah, there is a Sheriff. Okay, additional name. The first guest is Sheriff Shaban. Good evening, Sheriff.
Good evening.
The second guest is Nermin Momen. Good evening, Nermin.
Good evening, Nord.
The third is the guest is Nabil Dalel. Good evening. And you have the mic switch, Nabil.
Sorry. Okay. Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Okay. Good evening.
The last is the last guest is Hamed Yosdri. Okay. It's a very pleasure for me. We have inside our conference. It's a very nice speaking with you. And begin our conference with Sheriff Shaban. Sheriff Shaban, you can tell us a little yourself and your work, please.
So I have my PhD on the history of art from Cairo University. I worked in the archaeological field for about 15 years. I worked in the conferences of the Ministry of Antiquities, working for information technology and for the cultural development.
Wow.
And I'm having my PhD in the history of art, and it's the same field that I'm teaching in the university.
Okay, it's very interesting. And begin your speak. With speaking, you possible while speaking with in general the archaeological site of Sakara and the Bubasteyon.
I'm so happy that I'm with you today, my friend Leo, and let me take you to a visit to Sakara. This the most important and most beautiful archaeological place in Egypt. So, but before I take you to Sakara, let me ask a question. Why Sakara is the most important place in ancient Egypt, as it's maybe most important than Memphis, than Giza, than Thebes? So the answer is that Sakara has every monument from the whole ancient Egyptian history, beginning from the archaic period, 1st and 2nd dynasty, till the Greek-Roman and the Coptic period. So we can see the whole ancient Egyptian history in one place. You can see all the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, what they left in Egypt in this place, in Saqqara. So when you visit Saqqara, you can see every part of the ancient Egyptian history. Saqqara is the longest and the most important necropolis in Egypt as well. It's about 6 kilometers from Memphis and it has about 30 pyramids, 15 of which are the king's tombs, and the rest are for the queens as a satellite pyramids. We can also see very incredible tombs from the 5th and 6th dynasty. So you can show us some pictures? We can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and okay. Okay.
Here is the Bubastins. We can talk about the Bubastin. What is the Bubastin? The Bubastin is a Ptolemaic and Roman temple complex. It was dedicated to the goddess Bastet. But before, it was a great necropolis for the 18th and 19th tombs of the nobles of this period, such as the tomb of Maya, the witness of the king, the golden king Tutankhamun. We can see the tomb of Abria, the vizier of the new kingdom. We can see the tomb of the ambassador Ramses II. These are very important and very incredible private tombs in the Bubastin. But in the Greco-Roman period, this area was reused as a tomb for cats, mummies, for animals as generals. So why it was known by the Bubastin? Because it was dedicated for the goddess Bastet, the goddess, the cat goddess. This cat goddess has a great fame during the late period and the Greco-Roman period. So they made this area as a cemetery for its symbol, the cat. So as you can see in the movie, we discovered a huge amount of the cat mummies, as they were very well preserved and very well mummified. We can see some mummies for the cats, as they were mummified by their legs and tails bound together to the body, or they can be mummified all together as a one body. And we can see some amulets like eyes and ears to be added to the mummy of the cats. So some mummies of the cats we found were buried in sarcophagi or coffins, some wooden or stone sarcophagi. Some were buried with kitten sculptures and jewelry amulets. That we can see the importance of these mummies and the very huge care by the ancient Egyptian with these mummies. So we have another question. Why did the ancient Egyptians worshipped animals? Or the ancient Egyptians did really worship the animals for themselves? But it's no. The ancient Egyptians worshipped the animals for their power, for their even its good power or bad power. So they worshipped animals like cats, dogs, cows for their goodness, so they can have their good power. But in other way, they worshipped crocodiles, hippos, to give away their evil. That's the main aim that the ancient Egyptians made the mummies for the animals, not for the animals themselves, because we can see that the ancient Egyptians used animals for farming, for eating, so it wasn't forbidden for them to eat animals, even pigs, even some unusual animals to be on their meals. But on the other way, they have these animals, sacred animals, just for their power, not for the animals themselves. Thus, we can see in the movie as a great excavation and great discovery that we can see these animal mummies. The surprise that we have found in the discovery of the Bobassin that we have found a cub mummy. This cub mummy, it's unusual to have it in a cemetery for cats. We had also a mummy for crocodile. So the question why we have mummies for a cub between mummies of the cats, till now we don't have the answer, but it's something so strange and surprising for us. Back to Sakara. If you want to have a visit to Sakara, you must see the most incredible tombs of the 5th and 6th dynasties. Like the next, please, you can see these are the mummies of the cats. This is the mummy of the cub. So it's unusual and very interesting to have a cub mummy like this here. Next, please.
Okay.
This is the cub mummy. We can see it in a bigger size than cats, of course, but the mummies were very good mummified, very good cared by the ancient Egyptians.
And Sharif, we have one question for Carrie Phillips. Ask, do you know? You read?
Yes, till now we don't know why a cub mummy was found in the cemetery of cats. But my self-opinion that it was not a cemetery for just cats or for just goddess bastards symbols, but I guess it's a cemetery for the whole animals. Even the cub was worshipped as well. That the lion was a symbol of the power. The lioness was the symbol of the goddess Sekhmet, the goddess of the power and the war in ancient Egypt. So when we see a cub mummy, it may be a chance to have a cemetery for other animals or other god symbols, animals in this place.
Okay. You show another slides for you.
So this is the tomb of T and Meriruka. These are the most important, in my opinion, a very incredible tombs, private tombs that you must visit in Sakara. We can see the whole daily life of the ancient Egyptian drawn and inscribed by the walls of these two viziers. And so you can see the whole world of the ancient Egyptians, their daily life in these both tombs. We can see here, for example, farming, butchering, animals butchering. Here we can see that the ancient Egyptians are using animals for their farms, not just for worshipping. They can eat animals, they can farming animals. Also, they are treating animals for farming in a good way, are feeding the animals, not butchering them in a bad way. That's showing that the ancient Egyptians are caring for the animals as well. Next, please.
And I think that don't have another. We have only this.
You have only this?
Yes.
So no problem. That I want to show that ancient Egyptians liked and loved their animals, whether in the daily life or as divines. They use animals in farming, in eating, in butchering. So it's so we can see that they are caring about them. And the other way, for worshipping, the animals are the symbols for the power of their gods and goddesses. And again, they didn't worship the animals for themselves, but they are worshipping the absolute power of these gods symbolized by the animals, even it's good or evil.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, finish. It's a very interesting story, and thank you very much, Sharif.
thank you, my friends.
I introduce it now. The second speakers is Nermin Momen, and also you. I ask you your little biography and your work.
Okay. Firstly, I'm honored, totally honored to participate such a live with great people like you. I am general manager of documentation management in Aprawash site, and I'm working and I got a master degree in museum studies. Also, I worked about 15 years in the sites, archaeological sites and the heritage sites with Dr. in Giza Plateau with Dr. Zahi Hawass. Now I'm a specialist in the documentation field. Always am assigned by the Ministry of Antiquity to document the archaeological sites and the new discoveries which is covered from the excavation work. Okay.
Okay. Nermin, tell us about Waifi Tomb and his personality.
Okay. Wahti has for me a special work because I have memories, fantastic memories about the tomb regarding my work. And on the other side, Wahti was an important person, an important personality who lived in the fifth dynasty in the Old Kingdom. I think Wahti revealed his biography and his history, revealed the social and the political scene about the country in the time. Because in the time, the country began to lose its authority, and new titles began to appear in the community, like high officials and the priestess, like Wahti, became in front of the segments of the society. Wahti, one of the personality who lived in from the high rank of the community. We realized that during our work from our documentation, from the inscription on the walls of the tomb. For example, he held an important titles and the religious titles, like inspector of the palace of the king, inspector of the temple of the king. Also, he was a priest, a high priest, like prefecture priest for the king. I think, and his tomb contain a lot of impressive scenes and decoration. I love this tomb because of its the diversity of its topics and the quality of its executions and the colorful, beautiful reliefs. Okay. Um, regarding my memory and the backstage of the film, me and my best colleague Nabil, our scenes became in a naturally way. I mean, we actually working naturally. We never scripted for our conversation by luck. I will come again to Wahti tomb. Wahti tomb. There were a lot of secrets behind the tomb. We succeed to read the secrets from the inscriptions and the texts on the walls of the tomb. But as for me, I wanted to talk about specific wall and the specific scenes affected me very much from the tomb, like the Western Cemetery, for example, the Western wall of the tomb. We stood in front of this wall a lot because we discovered a lot of secrets behind the tomb of Fahti, or the history or his biography. For example, the wall contains about 3 false doors. But the question here, what is the false door? The false door, it's the meaning or its interpretation are real false according to the beliefness of the ancient Egyptian. He will live again in the afterworld, in the other world, and his soul or his ka will come out from this door to receive offerings and prayers from his relatives and the public. So we surprised when we saw 3 false doors, not 1 false door. But I think he is appreciate his families, because the first one belonged to himself, Wahti, contains the titles and the name of Wahti and his biography, and about the offering formula. Offering formula, it's a tradition formula from ancient Egypt. The ancient Egyptian used to put it in the walls of their tombs to, I think they wanted to confirm the offerings which were received after death. This is for regarding the first false door. The second one for his wife. For his wife, her name بتاعها but me and Nabil, we discovered a secret behind Wahti in this point, because we discovered he was a thief, because he stole, although he is friendly and appreciate his family, but he stole the name of his brother. In that time, we didn't know the identity of the man, because we discovered he erased the name of someone and put his name and the name of his wife and the names of his sons and daughters, but we don't know the identity in this of that man. But when we reached the eastern wall, already we discovered who is this, the identity of that man. He was his brother, because of there was a musician scene represented the musician party, presented a harp player and a singer while he is singing a song, beautiful song, and the inscription here, we read it. This is something like a song dedicated to the soul of my brother. I think it's something like pages of conscience. He wanted to dedicate to his brother something like this, such like a song for his soul. This about the scenes. Also, it affect me an important scenes, also daily life scenes, which like Dr. Sharif, he mentioned about the daily life scenes. It's impressive, colorful scenes on the walls, like making bread, making beer, also the slaughtering scene or the butchering scene. We discovered a lot of scenes about Wahti. I think by these scenes they confirmed the life afterward. He will live the same life, wealthy life like he was. Another something about Wahti take my attention, his statues inside the tomb. He had about 55 statues, and I think it's a large number of statues inside this tomb. belonged him in different ages, like as a child, as a youth, as an old man. I think it's a message. What he wanted to tell, said to living, he lived a long life with healthy life and happiness by his status. And also he wanted to recognize by the gods, and all people know about his personality. Okay. I try to remember the scenes of Wahti and its secrets, his secrets. Also, the status of his mother. He appreciated his mother very much. When we discovered a false door, he dedicated to his mother, Meritnian. And I think she had an important titles, and she was a strong woman. She had an important title as a priestess, high priestess for the King Wusir cave. I wanted to mention Wahti is he lived in the period of the King Nefer-Ir-Kara, the third pyramid of the Old Kingdom. But I wanted to penetrate from my discussion to the ways of excavation. Regarding to the cemetery of Bastion, during the excavation, we expected results from New Kingdom and from late period, but suddenly we discovered Wahti from the Old Kingdom. And I think it is we saw something like this situation, because in the excavation work we should expect it a results, but maybe there were a results, a new results appear suddenly. Okay. I want also to speak about
you have one question.
Okay.
Mr. Pietro Testa asked, which king, under which king live Woti?
Wahti, his tomb dated to the period of the King Nefer-Ir-Kara, the third pyramid of the 5th dynasty in the Old Kingdom. Okay.
Okay. Now we now in speaking with Nabil, and then we speaking together for the funny moments in the movies. It's better, I think. Yeah. Okay. Nermin. Thank you very much, Nermin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, sorry. Introducing Nabil Dalel is working together. Nermine is in the cast. Was in the cast of the film the Secret of the Tomb of Saqqara, and also you ask what little biography for you.
Okay. At first of all, hello everybody. I'd like to thank Dr. Sharif Shaban, Dr. Nermin Abdelmu'min, Dr. Leonardo, Dr. Ahmed for that meeting, and I have a great honor to be with you. And I'd like to thank a very famous personality, Mr. Wahti, because he is the reason for me to being here at your meeting. My name is Nabil Dalil. 44 years. I am a chief inspector of archaeology. I worked in the Ministry of Archaeology in 1999. I worked in many places at Mbaba zone or Abu Rawash zone, Pyramid zone, Saqqara zone, Al Wahat zone, and I worked in as a supervisor in excavation in many sites, like the excavation of Jetco company, and in the Khashm El Kalb, and in Abu Rawash area, and I worked in the Pyramid zone also, and I worked with Nermin in many places for documentary or for documenting many tombs at the last 5 years ago, and I have a great honor to be one of the members that I was in the film of the Secrets of Saqqara. And I'd like to speak about the excavation in general. And I want to refer to the most differences between the scientific excavations and the random drilling. We, all of us, read in the papers or know about a new discovery, Wahti tomb and another sarcophagus here in Saqqara. But we have to refer to who discovered these tombs. How can you make a team for excavation? What are the rules? Okay, I'd like at first to speak about the team of expedition or of the mission for discovery the tombs. It consists of at first the head of mission or the director of the mission, then the deputy head of mission, okay, then the supervisor of the site, then the archaeologists, and then the trainers, the archaeologists. That's not all. We must have also the painter, professional painter, and we have to also a cameraman or a photographer must be a professional, and a doctor. Why? Why we a question? Why we have a doctor in the team of excavation? Do you know that we are working in the deserts, and we may have snakes, scorpions, any animals, and we can face the scorpion bites or the snake bites. That's very necessary to have a doctor in the expedition. Then we have a very important person too in that team, the restorer who can deal with the artifacts or the objects which can be found. That is the members, and also we should have specialists in many archaeological sites like archaeobotany, anthropology, archaeobotany, okay, pottery, specialized in many field of the archaeological science to deal with these objects. Okay, that about the team of excavation, and you have to take all the precaution which had happened to you. You must protect yourself and protect your team because of the scientific excavation must be making more carefully, and you have to take your time, and you have some classification in your personality as a member of that team. You have a power of observation, and you must be a fair person, okay? And you can collect after all that work what we call diary, what you have happened in that location or in that site. Carefully, you can put all information in your diary. Then you can collect all that diaries and make your final report. Okay, that's about the team of excavation and how can you excavate in a site in brief. And then I will talk about Wahti tomb. Okay, before I'm talking about Wahti tomb, I'd like to say a brief about excavation. The first king who had excavated about the antiquities, it's Jisr Neferkhet Zoser. He excavated about the tombs of his grandfather and father, and we found in the tunnels under the pyramid, under his pyramid, many vessels, many pottery to the first and second dynasty or archaic period. And I can remember Thutmose IV, who discovered the Sphinx. Okay, then Ramses II, he was very interested in Memphis and their building. And for me, the most interesting moment while I'm working in Khashm al-Kalb, and I found a small statue for Sphinx. It was very fantastic moment. That's for me. I will go to Wahti. Wahti, that very important tomb, which has discovered in 2018 by Egyptian archaeologists. I have the great honor to work in that tomb that was located in the northeast of Zoser Pyramid and in the Bubastion. And this very strange thing, what? Wahti is dated to the old kingdom, and Bubastion for the new kingdom and the Greek-Roman period. The first observation that Wahti tomb for the old kingdom, the fifth dynasty. Nermin said in the period of Nefer Erkara, the third kings of dynasty 5 in the old kingdom. Okay, when we get into that tomb, we were very astonished. Really, very rich tomb. It's full of very nice sculpture, very nice painting. That person had many clues. There are many questions we have to answer it. At the beginning, I'd like to tell you how can you document a tomb. Before you document any tomb, you have to read very well about the era of that tomb. Okay, we don't know the era till now. We have to read about the area. We have to read very well about the geology. Okay, before and take a photos in situ at the same place. When we take a photo in situ before working, and we have to record every step while we are working. We are beginning from making a discovery from the mountain or the geology of the land, making a presentation about the area, and we have to write everything we can see. Also, we have to read some references about the planning of the tomb, the titles, to making a very good report, which we can be satisfied about it. We saw incredible tomb. This man had about 55 statues, have many hieroglyphic inscriptions, and he has very good titles. He was the inspector of the palace. He was a purified priest, and he was the overseer about the holy pot, and he had many scenes in it. We saw a song, a painting of a song. We see a daily life activities like making pottery, making bread, making beer, making wood, and about making statues. How can you transfer statues? About painting statues. We have many activities, daily activities like fishing, hunting, very rich man. And the main thing, we have 4 walls in that tomb. The western, the eastern, the northern, but they are all similar, three walls. But the most different wall was the western one, which Nermin referred about it. We saw a very different inscription, very different hieroglyphic. We saw that Wahti removed some names. Sorry. We saw Wahti removed some names for his brother and his son and take that photo. Sorry. Okay, sorry.
Don't break it.
Okay. Okay, that western wall was incredible because we expected that Wahdi was a thief, that he removed some names which belong to his brother and take that tomb. We expected that our point of view, and according to his titles, this and his decorations, his sculptures, all of these things at his tomb, that was very incredible because that's the first tomb which belonged to the old kingdom in the Bubastion. As Dr. Sharif told us about the Bubastion, it's a cemetery for animals. And we surprised that we found why Wahdi chose that place to make his tomb. Many questions we have to answer it. Okay, that's I would like to thank you very much. I am sorry for this cell phone tone because it's mine, it's not mine. Okay, and I have a great honor to be with you.
Okay, thank you very much, Nabil. And when we finish our conference, we speaking together, Nermine, with the funny moments and movies, the Saqqara tomb, and the finish.
Okay.
And now, thank you very much, Nabil. Now we have Ahmed. Ahmed, and speaking, I ask you the little biography and speaking. For all over history for your people, you can describe this interesting discovery and the site of Saqqara, and then this is importance. Go. Ahmed, you have the mic switch off.
I'm sorry. I didn't
okay.
Good evening, everybody. I'm very honored to share in this conference. My name is Ahmed Yusri. I'm 34. I'm a banking lawyer. I'm passionate about reading antiquities, monuments, history, and cinema. I have a goal to visit every single museum and archaeological site in Egypt. A goal which I think is in its way of being fulfilled. After having visited numerous museums and archaeological sites in Cairo, Giza, Alexandria, Almenia, Sohag, Qena, Luxor, and Aswan. I want to share some impressions I had as an unexperienced individual in archaeology, which I have about the documentary. First of all, I will speak about the importance of the discovery of the tomb of Wahdi, which was depicted in the documentary. The documentary speaks about a wholly Egyptian archaeological discovery of a purely Egyptian team. The tomb relates to a high official from the Old Kingdom. Besides, it has been very exciting to me to witness the history, life, remnants and body remains of a person and his whole family entirely unearthed back to life after such a very, very, very long period of time. Afterwards, I would like to highlight that I have been fascinated during the movie with the passion shown by every member of the Egyptian excavation mission, the strong faith and hope they showed in the importance of their efforts, and their confidence of reaching an astounding discovery were really inspiring to me. Additionally, I would like to point out as well to the cleverness and sincerity of the hand workers who did the digging works and the opening of the shafts. I was completely amazed by their delicate and careful hands that were not blindly violent with normal hand workers in similar situations, without which many damage may have occurred to the precious pieces they are unearthing. Afterwards, the scenes of the physician who were studying and analyzing the bones of the remainings from the mummies of the family of Wahti have been very amusing to me. I felt like she was sitting in the household of Wahti, speaking very intimately about each member of the family, whose remaining bones she has just studied and deduced very interesting facts about the members of the family of Wahti. This was mind-blowing, I have to tell. I would conclude by the impact this documentary may have on raising attention to the site of Saqqara, because many of my friends and my peers almost knew nothing about Saqqara other than the step pyramid of King Djoser. And I think this documentary served as an extensive educational material about how important and rich this site is. That's all.
Okay, that's all. So now they finish our conference with Nabil and Nermin speaking about the funny movies, the funny moments of the movies of the second tomb of Saqqara. You have the free time. We have again 10 minutes. It's possible together describe these funny moments. Go.
Thank you. I'd like to refer to an important thing that happened while we are working with Nermin at Wahti. We didn't know anything about Netflix. Suddenly, we saw Netflix team come into the tomb, and they asked us for recording with us in that film. For me, that was my first time, and I am a very natural person. I am not aimed to do anything. I always have a very calm situations. Like now, while I am with you online, with this cell phone and this tone, sorry for that. Okay, and I whispered to Nermin, please improve your writing. While she write her diary, I whispered for her, please improve your writing. How can you read it? That very, very slow voice. Suddenly, while I am watching of Netflix, I listen myself say to Nermin, please improve your writing. That's very amazing situation for me. And in the promo of the film, I said, this tomb is بتاعتي in Arabic, means it's mine. They repeat it many times. Yeah, in the film. And I'd like to speak also about we always, while we are working, we aren't be very stressed. We have to have some jokes, some fun about some inscriptions. Okay, and Nermin saw me while we are working make a focus to the wife of Wahti, and looking for his sculpture, and told me why you are very interested in that sculpture. I am always interested in the female institutes. I respect them very much, and she always loving at me while I am working in the tomb. We have very strange things. Nermin can tell us about something unusual.
Nermine, your
Okay.
opinion?
Okay, in general, like I mentioned before, our scenes just come in a natural way. You know, yani we never scripted for our conversation during the film. They wanted to film us during with the way we were. I never thought they will going to display the funny scene which Nabil mentioned while where he was complaining from my handwriting and my funny response. Also, this is a bad handwriting for the genius also only, and I can read my. I am the only read uh, my inscriptions and my. I think
Missing in the back.
joking
Okay.
in the tomb, but mention all of it. I will
Okay, you finish, Nermine?
okay, okay.
Hello. Okay, and
Hello?
no, and you have lost 5 seconds for your speak. And now, thank you for accepting our invitation and for having spoken so passionately of this important discovery. And I hope that live broadcast is the first of many. Thank you, Sharif.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Nermine.
Thank you for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nabil.
You are very welcome, sir. Thank you too. Okay.
I remember switch off the mobile phone.
Sorry.
For you is remember it smoke less or not.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
Because I listen also without the cam.
You are very intelligent. Okay.
No, we joke now. Thank you very much, Ahmed, for your presence. And I show the comments from Italy for everywhere, for Mexico, for it's very good conference. I very happy for Tears first direct in live broadcasting for Anubi TV.
I want to add something little.